Hey Pisceans, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your first half of this general reading here. So in the meditation, it was short but sweet. I saw the image of a card from a deck that I'm not using today, but I went ahead and pulled the card for a visual here. So I saw this, the image of the Akashic Library from the Akashic Tarot. And now I saw this image in your meditation, and then I saw a peacock come and stand right about here. So the feeling that I got from this is that the Akashic Library is very much about, soul purpose and lessons, right? It's about what we're here to do, what we've done in past lives, all of those things, right? I got the feeling from this that you are going to be moving into a time where, regardless of what it's like, what it feels like, you're just going to feel on a deep inherent level that this is part of why you're here. You're where you're meant to be, that even, and this is important to say, because Peacock is King of Cups energy, right? It's about emotional balance, emotional intelligence, and feeling deeply and understanding oneself, right? When things are difficult, when we face challenges, right? There's a difference between when we face challenges, but we know that they're surmountable because we are connected to our feeling that we're meant to face this challenge, that we're where we're meant to be, right? Versus when we face challenges and they feel overwhelming to the point where we have anxiety, we panic, we lament, because underneath that is a deep fear that something has gone horribly wrong, that we've gone off the path, that we're not where we're meant to be, that we're not going to get through it, right? For you, I feel like you were shifting into a place where you're just really connected to that knowing. I see like a light glowing in your book here in the Akashic Library saying, you've hit this soul marker, you're where you're meant to be, right? You're on the correct path. Being on the correct path, as it were, quotes included, doesn't mean that everything is sunshine and rainbows and moves easily for you. It means that you are learning the lesson that you're here to learn, right? But I want to do something that I don't normally do, but I feel called to do for you, Pisces, is I want to read what this says from the guidebook from the Akashic Tarot, because this guidebook is especially wonderful. Actually, let me hold it up so you can see why. The Akashic Library. Inside a great library, candles cast a glow upon the books in the tall shelves. A sage sits thoughtfully with an open book on his table and a quill pen in hand. Sometimes this card can indicate writing or publishing a book for you, but this card also symbolizes a new initiation, an ability to manifest a new life in every way. You have moved deeper into the Akashic records and to a higher self-awareness. Further investigation may be required, but you now have a better understanding of your old motives and new purposes. It is also a time of heightened intuition, as well as greater self-creation. During this phase, all you have to do is add a little conscious effort to write your new records in the Akasha. To get started today, write one simple declaration about the future you wish to create and repeat it to yourself often. Then decide one thing you can do to make it happen and do it. Anything can happen now. The breadth of this landscape before you rests solely on the scope of your imagination and your will to own. It says special note. When you receive this card, whether it's upright or reversed, it indicates that a book will bring a message to you. Today, open any book that compels you to do so. Let it fall to any page, read a passage there, and reflect on the words throughout your day. Determine which relationship or situation in your life it addresses, and don't assume that it's the one that's most urgently on your mind. The Akashic forces are active in every part of your life, and your books are actually a part of the Akashic Library. So, and then it says Akashic Force. As you close your eyes, envision yourself stepping into the most beautiful and serene of all ancient libraries. Imagine yourself taking a book from a shelf and opening it to a page. Notice the first word that comes to you. What does it tell you? How does it feel? Remember to visit this mystical library often and tap into the expansive wisdom that is yours. So I felt very, very called to read that. I don't think I've ever done that on this channel. I have maybe a handful. This feels like this is casting the glow over your reading. It does feel like a very significant time for you, Pisces. I did want to note that the full moon in Aquarius is coming up on August 12th. Aquarius energy, I'm an Aquarius. Aquarius energy is expansive, it's innovative, it's magical. It speaks of, high communication and creative thinking. You're going to have that working for you as your sister sign of Aquarius during this time period as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and see what your cards have to say. Pisceans, let's go ahead and see what your animal energy is for the first half of animal energy for Pisces. Oh, interesting. But isn't it always? Wow. Okay. So we got the shark here. So first of all, if you know me at all, and if you don't, I'll let you know that when we get an animal that is of our like element, right? So as a water sign, Pisces, you're getting shark, which is also water. That is always very auspicious. That is always a good sign. Now, shark energy is about facing our shadow sides, our shadow selves. Shark energy equates to that of the devil in the tarot. So Capricorn energy, which is an emphasis on all things physical, the material world. It also talks about our fears, right? And how our fears keep us trapped and keep us small, right? Shark medicine says abundance lies on the other side of fear. So that's coming through for you. I want to go ahead and get into the cards here. But I do find it very interesting that you have the shark here with abundance lies on the other side of fear and shadow aspects, and the Akashic Library, which speaks of stepping into a significant time. And then also I saw that peacock energy for you as well, which is that King of Cups. And then you have more water here. So it's all very watery, but there's also really an aspect of air here as well. Again, with that full moon in Aquarius, but also the Akashic Libraries is high air energy, right? Let's see what's going on, guys. Oh, aha. Very good. So we have the Seven of Pentacles here. Really, really fascinating. Traditionally speaking, beautiful earth energy here. Traditionally speaking, Seven of Pentacles is about patience and timing. It's trusting that everything is going to come in its own timing, regardless of how you feel about it. Now, what's really fascinating about this is that in the meditation, we were talking about how your response to what's going on around you directly ties into how connected you are to your knowing, that the challenges that you're facing or your circumstances, whatever they be, are all a part of a divine concept that you are partaking in, right? So it's not feeling like something has gone terribly wrong and I'm off the path. It's that deep knowing that regardless of how things are, I'm where I'm meant to be. That is very Seven of Pentacles, darling. Very Seven of Pentacles. You know, the fact that she's sitting here with the apples as well, apples represent knowledge, right? The Akashic Library, all about knowledge. You know, also with the King of Cups and the Shark too, actually, there's this emphasis on knowing thyself. Right? I feel like there is something going on with knowing yourself and really stepping more fully into your own self, fully realized self-relationship, right? Interesting. Also a bit of a Snow White vibe here with those gnomes. I know she had dwarves, but I believe those are gnomes. But there's something about this as well. Do you see how her eyes are closed and she's just like picking them based on intuition, based on feeling? There's something about that. We're talking about knowledge and choices. I feel like you are, when we talk about, from the book, it said realizing, life in a new way, stepping into, a new aspect of your life. I feel like there's a shift that's happening within for you that is going to elicit a physicalized, with the devil energy, a physicalized shift in your given circumstances. I feel like you could be moving. You could be taking up a different job. You could be meeting someone new, joining a group. There's something about this earth energy, your physical experience, because Capricorn's earth energy as well. There's something very grounding about it. There's something in your physical experience that is going to shift. And I feel like you're following your feelings around it. But at the same time, I feel like there's a part of you that's been waiting for this shift, whether it's unconscious or conscious. But I feel like that shift is very much in the air. I cannot tell you the number of times this has come up today. Okay, so we got the Knave of Wands here. It's the Page of Wands, right? Beautiful fire energy. So, what's interesting about this is that, see all these salamanders here, lizard energy? It's very much about timing, about when to move and when to be still. Lizards know how to conserve their energy to the extreme, darling. When they're still, it's like, are you alive? And I have a bearded dragon, so I know a little bit about this. It'd be so still to the point of like, are you alive? And then once it's time to eat or play, suddenly they're like from 0 to 100. So that's really interesting. Why do I feel like you have been repositioned or realigned so that you can start something new? That there were certain things that needed to happen ahead of this, whether it was like health progress, soul progress, learning, healing, recuperation, realization. Something needed to be shifted and aligned for you so that you could be of the same vibration of this new path ahead. It's like I can see like your vibration was under construction. That's what it feels like. Like your vibration was under construction. And that's a bit of this too, the Seven of Pentacles. And now the Page of Wands. This also speaks of courage and bravery and new exciting paths ahead. Remember, wands are about the actions that we do or don't take. Usually around the work that we love to do, but also about around our interpersonal relationships, right? There's a lot of red here. We have red in the shark's mouth. We have red. He's wearing a red cloak in the Akashic Library. There's red all over here. There's red here, apples, shirt, mouth, gnome hat, hair. So there's a lot of red. So let's talk about the root chakra. The root chakra. This governs our area of stability, of financial safety, of health, of feeling grounded. And, you know, whenever we become truly afraid in terms of the survival instincts of fight or flight, actually, I think it's fight, flight, or freeze, technically. But whenever that's activated within us, it's usually connected to the root chakra. Because what tends to scare us the most is what? Fear of dying, fear of starving, fear of going without, fear of being able to have a roof over our heads. It's that primal, ancient aspect of ourselves that says, like, I need to eat, and I need somewhere to sleep, and I need to feel safe. All of those things, right? So I feel like this is directly related. This shift is directly related to your root chakra, because we're also looking at this shark, which is about fear and shadow aspects and the devil energy, all things material and physical. I feel like this shift is going to we already talked about it affecting your physical circumstances, but I also feel like this is going to affect your health or your well-being in a certain way, and you're going to be feeling better with this Page of Wands here, because that's young, new energy, right? Page of Wands. Yes. Ooh, how happy am I to see this for you? It's just gnomes everywhere. Okay. So we have the Ace of Pentacles here. This is so perfect. So more earth energy. Why do I feel like you're going to benefit from a lot of this grounding aspects happening around you? Ace of Pentacles. This is a new job opportunity. This is moving homes. I'm telling you, this is in your energy. This is what it is. Meeting someone new. We already talked about this. This can be getting engaged, moving into a commitment, meeting someone that's going to have a large impact on your life, having a new lease on life, health-wise or mentally, health in terms of mental health, physical health, emotional health, all kinds of health, right? This is really beautiful. But you also see these gnomes like pushing these stones along slowly. I feel like it's slow and steady progress leads to long-lasting benefits. Ooh, why does that feel like the whole point of this reading? Slow and steady progress leads to long-lasting benefits. I just felt someone go, yep. But here's the tea. It's always nice to know and have it confirmed that what we're doing is going to pay off and that we're not moving in vain, that our efforts aren't in vain. I feel like you know this because we found that in your meditation, but I feel like there's something here that's going to say you are going to be in a very different position here. And I do feel like it's going to require some courage and bravery on your part to start down a new path, whatever that is. This can even be an aspect of you that finally feels, just for an example, let's say that you feel physically better than you have in a long time, right? But it's requiring new things of you because now you have a new level of physical health and you're like, well, I'm going to need some courage because I have to relearn how to feel good physically or emotionally or mentally, right? It's like, oh, so there's something about that. Or a new opportunity comes in, right? A new job opportunity, perhaps a new relationship. And, oh, that's going to take some courage and bravery because, okay, I've been waiting for it. I've been patient, but now it's here and it's going to require that I move forward. And it feels like in a vulnerable way as well. But it's leading to something that has long-lasting benefits that are profoundly significant to your physical experience, which I feel like really physical experience that feels incredibly important and pertinent. Let's get some advice. It's very red though. More red. Root chakra. Oh, wow. Okay. Personal note. This is my favorite advice to get. On a personal note, the advice that you just got, I have gotten as advice more than any other tarot I've ever pulled for myself. It always comes up when I say, what's advice? I always get this key. So let's talk about the cups, y'all. First of all, as a water sign, love that this is your advice with the cups. But what's really brilliant about this, especially as it's depicted in this context, is do you see this dark side of the moon there and the shadow and the holding up the light to the dark? Can you dare, might you dare to allow yourself to be ecstatically happy without any fear of loss? How happy can you allow yourself to be? The cups traditionally, right, is that rainbow with the family and the house in the background, and it's complete emotional fulfillment. We're talking about shadow and light and fear. Then we have this dark moon. We have the full moon in Aquarius on the 12th, right? These little blue fairies flying around here, and this holding up the light and the darkness. Do you see how they're at the crossroads here? It's kind of Hecate energy as well. The guys at the crossroads. Do you see that here? And we're talking about paths ahead, going back to that Akashic Library aspect as well. You have choices. You always have choices. But I feel like some of these choices are going to closely resemble what you know really well. And there's going to be other choices that you may not know as well, but hold the most reward and hold the most happiness. Do you dare to allow yourself to be very, very happy? I know that seems a bit silly. It's a bit like, oh, really? Like, please, come on. No, but seriously, sometimes it can be difficult to fully embrace our joy, our emotional fulfillment, our, aspect of ourselves that wants to feel all of these things. But fear and past experience can get in the way. And this is just saying, again, really allowing yourself to fully feel the extent of your emotional well-being. But there's also an aspect of this that says, find comfort in your relationships. Find comfort in your relationships. That is the key. That is your advice. Do not be afraid of being vulnerable and leaning on other people during this time for emotional support. Because you know what? On one hand, that only incentivizes them and inspires them to lean on you as well, right? Which is beautiful, reciprocity and all that. But there's also an aspect of this that says, you know what? I understand that a huge part of what makes life worth living is connection. So how much am I willing to fully allow myself to connect with others and to allow others to connect with me? That feels very important here. You've been let down in the past. Who hasn't, right? You struggle, but past is not prologue. And I feel like that is the whole point of this Akashic Library, talking about turning a new page and manifesting in a new way. Past is not prologue, right? Okay, I'm getting inspired to read the reversed aspect of this because I'm feeling that. I didn't read the reversal because it came up in the upright in meditation, but I'm hearing to read the reversal. I'm going to do it. With this card reversed, the stairway, which is right there, you can see that. With this card reversed, the stairway leads farther and farther downward. Although you feel you're in a state of confusion, it is time to go deeper. The books of your Akashic knowledge have been toppled, but they are always in reach. You have stepped away from the psychic guidance from your inner sage. Perhaps there's been a disruption in your life, or maybe just a distraction. In either event, it's time to cast a renewed light on your past and on your inner discovery. Seek now to tap into the power within and through the records. Start today by writing a declaration of release from the things that have been muddling your clarity. Close your eyes and see them all disperse. With just a little effort, the book of your own Akashic record, which seems to have landed face down, can be righted and written upon you. I guess they're saying, like, if it's that, right? Book face down. Let's go ahead and get an oracle. I think that perfectly sheds light on what we're feeling here. You know what? I wanna lighten it up, and I want to get a divine feather messenger. Okay, we're gonna go for it. Let's get a divine feather messenger for Pisces. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Goose. Okay. Goose. Your dreams and desires are calling you to action. The journey begins today. I mean, hello. Your dreams and desires are calling you to action. The journey begins today. That's absolutely beautiful and perfect for all of this. But also, one more thing about goose medicine. Goose are very much about relationships. They represent fidelity and monogamy in animal medicine form. I don't know if they, as animals, are monogamous, but they do represent that if you look up what their medicine is about. So monogamy, faithfulness, connection. Goose are all about long-lasting relationships that are beneficial with partners that you can trust and family that you really feel connected to. So there is something about relationships here. It's really, really beautiful. And with that being said, my beautiful Pisceans, I'm sending you so many blessings for the first half of this. I so hope that this resonates and helps. If so, please let me know in the comments below. I love reading your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would so appreciate that. With that being said, just thank you. Thank you so, so much for being here. And as always, and most of all, just thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.